Hey everybody, I'm Amy,
And this is Audria
and this is the Right Crowd. So grab a cup of coffee,
for a delightful cup of tea.
maybe a little something on the rocks, and let's get started. Alrighty, so this is part 2 of how to write and market a Christmas cozy mystery. Dog, dog, dog.
Part two.
Okay, so our first video, we went through chapters 1 through 9, which took us from coming up with one and outlining it all the way to coming up with your blurb. So the back half of this book is all about the marketing. So we're going to start is your sales pitch. And she talks about what your blurb is, what it should be, what it isn't, what you should put in it. She gives you some examples. And then she actually goes into doing your Amazon KDP book details and how to put it all in there. But she gives you all the things. She asks you the questions like, why should readers care about your book? What's at stake? These are all the things that you should be including in your blurb. And she actually gives you a list of the components that should be in your blurb,
Which is pretty cool.
and then that's the end of that one.
Also, one cool thing about blurbs and what I've learned in other classes is if you write your blurb first, like what you're going for, what adventure your protagonist is going to have, write your blurb first, and then you can write the book to the blurb to make sure you pick up all those things and keep all those promises. It can be a fun way to sort of write it backwards.
When you said that, it reminded me that there is a guy named Craig Martell. He's the one that runs ran the 20 books group. And he says that he actually writes his books off his cover art.
Oh, yeah.
So he has them do the cover first, and then he goes back and writes the book based off the cover.
That's a cool way to do it too. I've heard of a couple of other authors who do that. That's fun. It seems like a fun way to do it.
There we go. Launching your book. So neither one of us has actually launched a book. However, one of us is closer than the other one. I wonder who it could be. And she says a lot about marketing and publishing in this. Y'all have heard us talk about Sarah Cannon before. She does the Heart Readings community. She does 2 major classes a year. One is about making your quarterly goals, and one is about publishing. I cannot recommend her classes more than anything. But her new Publish and Thrive that I want to say she did a new one in August. She knows what she's talking about. So even though she does urban fantasy and paranormal, young adult fantasy, she knows what she's doing. And publishing is publishing. So you might want to look into it. So going back to the book, I wanted to make sure I said something about it because I didn't want to forget.
Yeah.
She starts with setting up your pre-orders on Amazon is how she begins this. And something that she points out is that with Amazon, if you set up a pre-order date and you miss it, they are unforgiving.
Yeah.
And unless something has changed since she wrote this book, according to her, they could ban you for up to a year on setting up pre-orders. That would be really bad if you were planning on going on Amazon. And whether you like Amazon or not, that is where people go to buy stuff. So, I mean, you need to really consider Amazon. So make sure that you don't set dates you can't produce by, because that could be. You could also turn off readers because you promised them a book and it didn't come out. You could turn people off. The other thing is that when they ban you, your readers that were looking for that book won't see when it comes out because they won't let you set up another pre-order. They just have to know to go to your page to find your book. So make sure that when you set your pre-order date, you know what for sure that you can do it And if you come to where you're not quite sure anymore, you better make sure, because they're not forgiving. Oh, and then it says, so Amazon can be reasonable. She just has high expectations. So make sure that you treat it well. She then goes through Kindle. And the thing I love about her, this part, is that she does all these screenshots. Like, she tells you what to do, and then she shows you what it's going to look like. So I love that about this back half of the book. The front half of the book is all about working it out. And this back half is, okay, now that you've worked it out, here, let me show you how you're going to do it. And this is what it's going to look like.
I love the step-by-step. As a person who's written documentation, I do love it when documentation is written well. So this one, and I've taken Sarah Cannon's, I've paid for Sarah Cannon's courses and gone through them. I plan to use Sarah Cannon's and probably have this book open and handy when I'm going through the process of uploading and launching my book on Amazon and all the other vendors.
Yeah. She goes through pricing. She also makes a point to say that a Kindle reader can purchase a book, return it, read it, the whole thing, return it, and Amazon will give them a full refund. So keep that in mind. Even though they may have read your entire series, they can return it, and Amazon will give them a full refund. So just keep that in mind, that they may have loved your books, but they're cheats. And if they can get it for free, they're going to get it for free. So just keep that in mind in the back of your head, that it can happen in Barnes & Noble too. Someone buys your book. It takes a little more effort for them to take the book back. And then Barnes & Noble looks at it and says, well, there's dog-eared pages throughout the entire book. You've read it. We're not taking it back. Amazon can be like, yeah, we see that you flipped all the pages, but you didn't like it. Cool. We'll give you your money back. So just keep that in mind. She does point that out. And then she talks about Goodreads. Now, raise your hand if you're on Goodreads all the time. Just me? Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm on Goodreads all the time. And when I read a book, I mark that I've read it. I will give it stars. I don't always review, but I always do stars. And there's a lot of books on my to be read. I may never get to them, but that doesn't mean that I don't intend to. You can put your book on Goodreads before it comes out. And now it's in my to be read. So you're going to see how many people are actually interested in what you are currently writing. So I, for one, love Goodreads as a reader. And I fully intend to put myself on Goodreads when I'm an author, because I know that's how I give a lot of my book reviews, is on Goodreads.
And I use Goodreads, and I have a Goodreads account, and I'm on there frequently, but you said who's on there all the time, and I'm not on there all the time. Yeah, but I'm not on there, but I love it. I love it as a reader, and it's part of my marketing and launch plan as a writer.
Okay, so then she moves into advertising, and one of the things that she does when she does to get her first reviews is she gives her book to her ARC readers, which are the readers that get advanced copies, and they get a free copy in exchange for a review. You're trusting that they are actually going to put a review in. So she gives her book, and then she gives them 2 weeks. Read the book and put a review in. So even before your book comes, sometimes you're on there and you're like, this book hasn't even come out and it's already got 5 stars from 10 people. How's that possible? Those are from her ARCs or her beta readers that have gone in, they've read the book, and now they've gotten it, and their agreement is to give a review. So her suggestion is 2 weeks and have them give a review. And she uses booksprout.co and storyoriginApp.com. Those are the 2 that she uses to upload her books to her ARC readers. And also remember, not everybody's going to like it, and that's okay. I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea, and Audrey is not going to be everybody's cup of tea. It's just not the way. I literally haven't read Audrey's book. I'm not one of her beta readers, because it's not necessarily something I'm going to be interested in. Not that I don't love Audrea, and not that I won't support Audrey. I'm going to buy her book because I want to support her. but it's not going to be my cup of tea, and that's okay. And she knows that. And I'm not going to be her cup of tea, and that's okay. Like, it's just the way it is. You can still like people and not like what they write.
You can indeed.
I mean,
I've bought lots of books from people that I just like them as a person, or authors I've met and I want to support them, and I bought their book, but I'm probably not going to read the sexy horror thing or the serial killer mystery book. Although I just recently bought a serial killer book that I'm looking for, but typically I don't really read a lot of thrillers or that kind of thing.
But see, and that's my cup of tea. That's my cup of tea. Yeah. Like, I was super excited to meet Mark Cameron at 20 books.
Oh yeah.
Super excited because Jack Ryan's my boy. Okay. Then she goes into keywords and how they're important. She uses Publisher Rocket to get keyword ideas. But she goes through what keywords are. She gives you screenshots, all the screenshots. She also tells you about, what are they called? Negative? Hang on a second. Let me see what they're called.
Oh, yeah. They are negative keywords.
There's negative keywords where you put in who you're not looking for. Like, and I love that. I love that. This is who I am looking for, and exclude these people. And not that she's being prejudiced against people, but if your book is geared towards 35 plus women, you're not necessarily going to be advertising to 17-year-old guys. So it's how because you want your advertising dollars to reach the people that are actually going to use your product. So you want to make sure, just like when you go on Facebook, you have a target audience. You're going to do that on Amazon as well. You have a target audience. Make sure you're targeting the right people so your ad dollars aren't going towards people that would never pick up your book. So she goes through that, explains what all of that is. She goes into categories.
Like lots of examples and data.
Yes. Lots.
Me like some data and spreadsheets.
Yeah. She goes into categories, and then she actually talks about, she says, after I submit my book and it's live on Amazon, I buy a copy. And she said she buys a copy so she can see what categories Amazon has her in. So then she can go and make adjustments that she needs to make.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Stuff that Amazon does on the back end that you often don't see it unless you look at it from a reader's perspective, or you can't even impact it because that's their way of doing things, but you should be aware.
Yeah. She then goes into setting up your campaign on Amazon. And again, screenshots. Like, she'll have, like, literally one page I'm looking at has 3 lines of text. The rest of it is screenshots. So, like, she literally says, okay, this is what you do. And then she shows you what it looks like. She talks about auto targeting, which I already talked about, because you're going to put in a daily budget. You want to make sure those budgeting dollars are hitting the people you want. Talks about the negative. Some of the things I said, I was a little early on. Keyword targeting. You can only, when you set up your title and everything, there's only so many words you can put in. However, when you set up your tagline, you can put in all the things. Like, you have lots of word options. So she talks about what that should look like when you set that up as well. Let me see what's next. There's a lot of screenshots. There's a lot of screenshots in the back.
Thank you very much, T. Lockhaven.
Yes. Just, I'm a visual learner. I need to see it, hear it, and read it. And so I like that she has all of these screenshots of all the things. She talks about, she can actually look and see what her campaigns are doing. So she knows that her money goes where it needs to go, but she can also see where it's not working, and she can reallocate those dollars into something that's working. And then she goes into making sure that your negative words are in there so that, again, you're not going to where they don't need to go. And then she calls them profitable keywords and profitable products. And it's making sure that you've got the right words, not necessarily hitting the market, but the actual word that you want people to. So if I'm looking up knives and I want a ceramic knife,
Mhm.
if you don't sell a ceramic knife, but you have a knife that's better than a ceramic knife, you might put ceramic as a keyword so that I see the product. And then I love this. She gave all of her numbers and her stats and everything that she did. So you could see she follows her own formula, and this is what it did for her.
Love that.
Yeah. I love that she did that.
Because ads and the whole ad spend on Amazon, it's to me, it's a little scary. Gone to some marketing classes, some ad classes, and I thought, it's a little early for me to wet my pants over all of this math and how to do it and making sure I have a budget and all that stuff. But the way she breaks it down is very nice, very easy to understand.
Yeah, it's very. And then her last part is going over Facebook and creating your ads there, your target words, your headlines, your descriptions, all your campaigns. And then that is literally the end of the book because it's a lot of, like I said, it's a lot of screenshot. I will say that in the book, she does give you a website where all of her resources are. So you can go to her website and get all the resources.
And she lists a cozy mystery Facebook group here too, a Christmas cozy.
Yes,
So
that is what I was going to get out. Yeah, that's okay. I'm glad you said that.
There's a website, their website too, or is it just the Facebook page?
No, there's a website and it has all the resources on it. And then she has a Facebook group. So she gives you all the things. And then she's like, if you have any questions, go to the Facebook page, ask your questions. She's the one who monitors it and she answers the questions.
She's very nice.
Yeah.
So thank you to Thomas and Grace Lockhaven, which I just learned at the back of the book. Lockhaven.
Is it Thomas?
I thought it said Thomas. Yes.
So it's
I think it's two people. So they're a team.
Okay. Okay. Well, Thomas, I apologize because we've been referring to her the whole time.
Well, it's Thomas and Grace. I think
so. I'm sure that Thomas and Grace had equal part, even though it's just T. We're going to give you both credit. And with the folly.
Yes. So, yes. And so who would you say this book is for? I think this book is written for anyone who wants to write a cozy mystery period, or specifically a Christmas cozy mystery. And if you've not written one before, there's great information for beginners. And I think all the way up to intermediate if you've never written a Christmas cozy. But it's certainly a good resource for this.
I think because the beginning talks about all the things that are expected in a Christmas cozy, that I think even if you've written a cozy before, but you've not written a Christmas one, I think this could be vital and very important for making sure that you have all the pieces together.
So it comes down to, when it comes to a Christmas cozy mystery, including all of the things that are expected, just like when we reviewed the book 7-Figure Fiction by T. Taylor.
Oh, you need to have all the butter.
All the butter. You got to have that butter in there. So, and people will be disappointed if they pick up a Christmas mystery and there's like no mention of snow and
Christmas lights or Santa Claus.
All the things. Yes.
Because there's not going to be snow in mine because mine's based in Florida, but you sure as heck know there's going to be the Night of Lights, and St. Augustine's going to be in there.
It's so atmospheric, which is cool.
If you've never been to St. Augustine Night of Lights, you should go. It has gotten so popular that they do it from middle of November to the end of January. And it's so pretty.
That sounds fun. I love it. When I lived in Chicago, they had the State Street, all the windows that was done.
Oh, yeah.
The Christmas windows. They were at Marshall Fields, and now Marshall Fields is Macy's. That was a fun thing to do at Christmas. Well, that's it for the How to Write and Market a Christmas Cozy Mystery by T. Lockhaven. And
which we now know is Thomas and Grace.
Yeah, we recommend it. And run out and get yourself a copy. We'll put some links to some of the other things we mentioned in the show notes. Make sure to like and subscribe. Yes. Bye.
Bye.